It's 3 in the morning in the village of Yayagan, deep in the Sakha Republic of northeastern Siberia. The temperature is minus 58 degrees Celsius. The sky is black and filled with stars so bright they look like ice chips scattered across velvet. Everyone is asleep. Every window is dark. Every door is shut tight against the killing cold. Everyone is safe inside, wrapped in warmth and dreams. Everyone except one woman. Her name is Tuana, and she's walking alone through the snow, pulling a sled behind her, on a mission that no one knows about and no one would understand if they did. On the sled are bags of fish scraps, dried meat, grain, and vegetable peelings. The sled is heavy, and the snow is deep, sometimes up to her knees. Each step is an effort. Her breath comes out in clouds of ice crystals that freeze on her eyelashes and the fur trim of her hood. But she doesn't stop. She can't, because scattered throughout the forest and the abandoned edges of this village are animals' dogs, cats, even a few goats and chickens that people left behind when they moved away. And if Tuana doesn't feed them, no one will. They'll starve.
Or freeze. Or both. This is her secret. Her silent heroism.
Every night, while the village sleeps, she walks. Tuana is 61 years old. She lives alone in a small house at the edge of Yayagan. She never married, never had children. For most of her life, she worked as a veterinary assistant, traveling to the scattered settlements around the region to help with sick animals. She retired 5 years ago, but she never stopped caring about animals. And as the years have passed and the village has slowly emptied, young people moving to cities, families relocating for work, the number of abandoned animals has grown. It started 2 years ago. Tuana noticed a dog, a large mixed breed with thick fur and sad eyes, wandering near the abandoned Petrov house. The Petrovs had moved to Yakutsk 6 months earlier. They'd left suddenly, and apparently they'd left their dog behind. Tuana started bringing food to the dog. Then she noticed cats, several of them living in the ruins of the old community center. Then more dogs. Then, heartbreakingly, she found goats in a collapsed barn. Thin and desperate, left behind when their owners departed. She couldn't ignore them. It wasn't in her nature. So she began her nightly rounds. Tonight's route is long, almost 5 kilometers total, winding through the village and into the forest edges where some of the animals have taken shelter. She starts at the Petrov house, or what's left of it. The dog, whom she's named Batcher, is waiting. He always is. He knows her schedule better than most humans do. When he sees her approaching with the sled, his tail begins to wag, and he makes a low, grateful sound in his throat. "Hello, my friend," Tuana says softly, reaching into her bag. She pulls out a generous portion of dried fish and some scraps of meat she saved from her own meals. Batcher eats ravenously. He survived 2 winters on his own, with only Tuana's help. He should hate humans for what they did to him. But he doesn't. He's still trusting, still loving. It breaks her heart. She makes sure he has enough food to last a couple of days. She can't come every single night, though she tries and then she moves on. The cold is intense. Even with her heavy layers, she can feel it seeping in. Her face is numb. Her fingers, inside thick gloves, are stiff. But she keeps moving. The next stop is the old community center. It's a skeletal building now, windows broken, roof partially collapsed. But in a corner that's still somewhat sheltered, a colony of cats has made their home. She counts them as she approaches. 5 tonight. There used to be 7, but 2 disappeared last week. She tries not to think about what happened to them. The cats are wary, keeping their distance, but they know her. She lays out food grains mixed with fish oil, some dried meat, and steps back. They approach cautiously and begin to eat. One of them, a gray tabby with a torn ear, allows Tuana to touch her briefly. It's a small moment of connection, but it means everything. "Stay warm," Tuana whispers, though she knows the cats don't understand. "Stay alive," she continues her route. There's a cluster of 3 dogs living in the forest about a kilometer north of the village. The trek through the trees is treacherous, fallen branches hidden under snow, uneven ground, the constant danger of frostbite. But Tuana knows the path by heart now. She's walked it hundreds of times. The dogs hear her coming and emerge from their shelter,
a natural cave formed by fallen trees and snow.
They're skittish, these ones.
They weren't pets like Batcher. They were working dogs used for sledding, and when their owner died last year and his family couldn't take them, they were simply released. They've gone half wild, but they remember enough of human kindness to accept Tuana's food.
She leaves a large pile for them and backs away.
The alpha, a large black and white male, watches her with intelligent eyes.
She nods to him, a gesture of respect. By now, she's been walking for over an hour. Her legs ache. The cold has penetrated deep.
Most people would turn back, get home, get warm. But Tuana's route is only half finished. She has to keep going.
The next stop is the hardest. About 2 kilometers east, in what used to be the Sokolov farm, there are goats. 4 of them, left behind when the Sokolovs moved 18 months ago. Tuana had tried to find homes for the goats. She'd asked everyone in the village. No one wanted them. No one had the resources to care for them.
She'd even contacted animal rescues in Yakutsk, but they were overwhelmed, unable to help, so the goats stayed.
And Tuana took responsibility for them.
The walk to the farm is brutal tonight.
The wind has picked up, blowing snow into her face, making it almost impossible to see. She leans into it, pulling the sled, one step at a time. Her mind goes to a quiet place, a survival mechanism she's developed.
She thinks about warm things, summer, fire, tea, anything but the cold.
Finally, she reaches the farm. The barn is still standing, barely. Tuana has done what she can to reinforce it, but it's a losing battle.
Inside, the 4 goats huddle together for warmth. When they see her, they bleat a sound of recognition and relief.
I know, she says gently. I'm here. She feeds them carefully.
Goats need more than just scraps. They need proper grain, hay, nutrition.
She spent much of her small pension on feed for them. Her own meals have become simpler, smaller. But the goats are eating, they're surviving. That's what matters. She also checks their water. In this cold, water freezes solid within minutes. She has set up a system, a small fire pit with heated rocks that she places in their water trough to keep it liquid for a while. It's labor-intensive and dangerous in the wooden barn, but it works.
By the time she's finished with the goats, it's past 5 in the morning. She's been walking and working in minus 58-degree cold for over 2 hours. Her body is screaming at her to stop, to rest, to get warm. But there's one more stop. The last stop is the most heartbreaking.
About 1 kilometer south of the farm, in a small clearing in the forest, there's a makeshift shelter.
And in that shelter lives an elderly woman named Klavdia and her chickens. Klavdia isn't technically an animal, but she's been left behind just like them. She's 83 years old, and when her family moved to the city 2 years ago, they'd asked her to come. But Klavdia refused. She was born in this village. Her husband is buried here. She couldn't leave. So she stayed, alone in a house that was falling apart.
6 months ago, the house became uninhabitable. Klavdia moved into the small shed behind it, barely more than a shack with her 6 chickens. No one else in the village knows the full extent of Klavdia's situation. The few neighbors left assume she's managing, or they're too absorbed in their own survival to check. But Tuana knows, and Tuana helps. She approaches the shed quietly and knocks softly. Klavdia, it's Tuana. There's movement inside, and then the door cracks open. Klavdia's weathered face peers out. You shouldn't have come tonight. It's too cold. It's always too cold, Tuana says with a small smile. I brought food.
For you and the girls. Klavdia hesitates, then opens the door wider.
Inside, the shed is tiny, maybe 3 meters by 3 meters. A small stove in the corner provides minimal heat. Klavdia's bed is a pile of blankets and furs.
And around the edges, perched on makeshift roosts, are 6 chickens, fluffed up against the cold.
Tuana unpacks food. For Klavdia, she's brought bread, butter, some preserved vegetables, and tea. For the chickens, grain and scraps. Klavdia accepts with quiet dignity, though Tuana can see the gratitude in her eyes. You can't keep doing this, Klavdia says, as she does every time. You'll wear yourself out. So will you, if you don't eat, Tuana counters. We take care of each other. That's how it works. They sit for a few minutes, sharing tea that Tuana heats on Klavdia's stove. The chickens cluck softly. It's peaceful, in a way. Two old women, alone in the Siberian cold, finding comfort in each other's company. But Tuana can't stay long. Dawn is coming, and she needs to get home before the village wakes.
Before anyone sees what she's doing.
Because if the authorities knew, there would be questions. Concerns about her health, her safety. They might try to stop her.
Or worse, they might round up the animals and destroy them. Better to stay invisible. Better to work in the dark. She says goodbye to Klavdia and begins the long walk home.
The sled is lighter now, almost empty. But Tuana is exhausted. Every step is an effort.
The cold has seeped into her bones. Her knees ache.
Her back is stiff. She's not young anymore. This work is taking a toll. Halfway home, she stumbles. Her foot catches on something hidden under the snow, and she falls hard.
The impact knocks the wind out of her. For a moment, she just lies there in the snow, gasping. The cold is immediate and dangerous.
She knows she can't stay down long.
At this temperature, lying in the snow can kill you in minutes. But she's so tired. Her body doesn't want to move. It would be easy to just close her eyes. To rest, just for a moment.
Then she thinks about tomorrow night.
About Batcher waiting at the Petrov house. About the cats in the community center.
About the goats in Klavdia.
If she doesn't get up, if she doesn't make it home, who will feed them?
With a groan of effort, Tuana pushes herself up. Her body protests, but she forces herself to stand. She picks up the sled rope and continues walking. By the time she reaches her house, the sky is beginning to lighten. She's been out for nearly 3 hours. She puts away the sled, removes her outer layers, and stands by her stove, shaking with exhaustion and cold. She makes herself tea and sits at her small table. Her body aches everywhere. She knows this isn't sustainable.
She's 61, and every year this gets harder. How much longer can she do this?
What happens when she's too old, too weak? What happens to the animals then?
But those are questions for another day. Right now, she's done what needed to be done.
The animals are fed. Klavdia has food. Everyone will survive another day.
Tuana sleeps for a few hours, then wakes to the weak winter sunlight filtering through her window. She has errands to run today. She needs to buy more feed, more fish, more supplies. Her pension is barely enough to cover her own needs, let alone the animals.
She's been selling her possessions slowly. Things she doesn't need, heirlooms, anything with value. It's worth it. Every ruble spent on feed is a life saved. In the afternoon, she goes to the village store. The shopkeeper, a middle-aged man named Pyotr, greets her warmly. Tuana, what brings you in today?
Just some supplies, she says casually, picking up bags of grain.
Pyotr watches her load her basket with an unusual amount of food. That's a lot. Are you expecting guests?
Just stocking up,
she lies smoothly. Winter is long. He nods, though there's a curious look in his eyes.
Tuana pays and leaves quickly. She doesn't want questions.
That evening, as darkness falls, she prepares for another walk. Her body still aches from last night, but the animals need her. She loads the sled, bundles herself in layers, and steps out into the cold. The temperature is -60 tonight. Even colder than last night. The wind cuts like knives. Tuana pulls her hood tight and begins to walk. This is her life. Every night, the same journey. The same stops.
The same silent acts of care that no one sees. She doesn't do it for recognition. She doesn't do it for thanks.
She does it because it needs to be done. Because these animals, these creatures left behind by a world moving too fast, deserve to live. Because Klavdia deserves dignity in her final years. Because someone has to care. Weeks pass, then months. Winter deepens. Tuana continues her nightly rounds. She loses weight. Her face becomes more drawn.
Her hands develop arthritis that makes the work painful. But she doesn't stop.
One night in late January, something changes. Tuana is at the Petrov house, feeding Thatcher, when she hears voices. She freezes. People are approaching.
It's past midnight. Who would be out here?
She sees flashlights. Then two figures emerge from the darkness. It's Pyotr, the shopkeeper, and a younger woman named Irina who lives near the village center. Tuana's heart sinks. She's been discovered. Tushana, Pyotr says gently. We need to talk. She braces herself for criticism, for demands that she stop, for intervention. But instead, Pyotr says, we know what you've been doing. We've known for a while. Irina steps forward. We've been watching, trying to understand. And now we do. Tuana doesn't know what to say. You shouldn't be doing this alone, Pyotr continues. It's too much for one person. I'm fine, Tuana says automatically. You're not fine, Irina says kindly. You're exhausted.
You're wearing yourself to nothing. But what you're doing is... It's incredible. And we want to help. Tuana stares at them. Help? We've talked to some others in the village, Pyotr says. People who still care. We want to take shifts. Share the work.
You've been carrying this alone for too long. Tears spring to Tuana's eyes.
For 2 years, she's done this in secret. In silence, believing she was alone. And now, to hear that others see her, others want to help, it's overwhelming.
I don't know what to say, she whispers. Say yes, Rina says. Let us help. Let's save these animals together. And Tuana, who has been so strong for so long, nods. Yes, okay, yes. In the weeks that follow, everything changes. A small group of villagers, 7 in total, organize a rotation.
They pool resources, split the routes, share the costs of feed.
Tuana is no longer alone in the dark.
Sometimes she walks with Pyotr, sometimes with Irina, sometimes with others.
The burden is shared. The animals continue to survive. Klavdia receives regular visitors now, not just Tuana. The goats get better care. The dogs are less hungry. Even the cats seem less fearful. And Tuana, for the first time in 2 years, sleeps through some nights. She's still involved, still dedicated.
But she's not carrying it all alone anymore.
One night, walking with Irina through the snow, Tuana says, I never expected this.
I thought I'd always be alone in it. Irina smiles.
You were never alone. We just didn't know how to see you. But now we do. And we're not going to let you disappear into the dark again. The stars above them are brilliant. The cold as fierce as ever.
But between them, there's warmth, connection, the knowledge that even in the harshest places, compassion survives.
And when one person has the courage to care, others will follow. If you've ever done something good that no one saw, if you've ever cared when it would have been easier not to, you understand Tuana's journey. Share this story if it moved you. Tell us in the comments about the silent acts of kindness you've witnessed or done. And if stories like this of real people doing extraordinary things in extreme conditions speak to you, stay with us. There are more stories like this that need to be told.